When I was younger, I used to approach today's celebration of Jesus Christ, the King, with a great deal of gladness, certainly, but with an anticipation of seeing, if I can put it this way, kind of a Hollywood version of Christ the King. Someone who comes in great glory and majesty, with pomp and circumstance, with great armies surrounding him, and with a lot of acclaim. And there is certainly a measure of truth in all of that, for he will come in glory. But over time, I have come to appreciate that when Jesus came to be one with us, he did not come in pomp and glory. He did not come with great armies to stomp on his enemies. But he came as a person of peace. He came as a shepherd, a person of great love. And it was a love that, as Paul wrote in the letter to the Colossians, a love of God that brought all of creation into being. A love that created us in his own image. And when we have failed, that he came to be one with us, as one of us, in all things but sin. Not again in great pomp and circumstance, not to stomp on the devil and any other enemies he had, but came in peace and in love. He came with a ministry of healing, of redemption, certainly, but of teaching, encouraging people to love one another, to heal, to restore, and to grow again in the grace and in the dignity of life that God has created us to have. A life and dignity that cannot be imposed by military might or political influence, but a dignity and a purpose that is called forth in each of us through the gift and the outpouring of love. And needless to say, as we well know, because we're familiar with the story, the love of Jesus met with his condemnation, his crucifixion. And the world might have tried to rejoice for a moment, saying, see, we told you, you need to have power and might. You need to have authority. But Jesus did not fall for that. Rather, he allowed his crucifixion. He embraced his crucifixion. And then he rose from the dead. He did not allow death, anger, judgment, military might, political influence and power, or anything else of the world to overcome him. He used the power of love and rose from the dead, conquering death and darkness, conquering the power of evil, of military might and authority, not with overwhelming power and might, but with the gift of love. And it is that gift that I like to celebrate today, that we have a king that, yes, can certainly claim and be shown forth as having great power and glory and majesty, be crowned with many crowns and have choirs and armies of angels around him and all of the other things that we have come to appreciate. There's nothing wrong with that. But be mindful, my sisters and brothers, that behind all of that surface expression of glory and power, lies the overwhelming power of the infinite mercy and love of God. for us. And that when he comes again in glory, yes, there will be judgment. But again, not in the terms of a judgment of the world, but a judgment of love. Are you willing to accept my love? Are you willing to live in my love? Or will you hold on to the trappings of power and might that the world has to offer? One is the way of eternal light and life and peace. The other is the way to eternal darkness and chaos and evil. As we celebrate the feast of Christ the King, let us embrace the King who in his love has come to save us, has come to lift us from a world of darkness and brokenness and pain. Let us embrace the King and follow him ever more closely in our lives, not seeking earthly power or authority, but seeking only, and most importantly, to live in his way of justice, of mercy, of peace, and of love.